Yeah. And now I'm going to introduce Dan to deliver this C1 speech. Every kick in the butt is a step forward. Dan is an English teacher in Taiwan and had been to Taiwan for six years. Let's welcome Dan.
6 years ago when I came to Taiwan, I was talking to my cousin and complaining that I'm immigrating yet again. And he said to me, he gave me a Romanian proverb. He said, every kick in the butt, actually every kick in the ass is a step forward. I had to write it clean. But it means, imagine somebody kicks you in the ass, it hurts, but you take a step forward. It's a metaphor for life. Something unpleasant happens, but good things come out of it. So I thought if I'm going to introduce myself, that would be a good theme to my life, a pattern. So I'll just go through a few examples. I was born in Romania too many years ago. It was communist Romania, and it wasn't a very rich country. Even now it isn't. So there wasn't much to do. There were no computers, no games. There weren't even children's books, I don't think. So what people did was read adult books, picture books and so on. And that doesn't sound very exciting, but it turned out to be very useful because reading as a habit, as a pleasure, is a good way to learn. It's a good way to get an education, and it certainly helps in learning languages. So this kind of a limited childhood, in a way, turned out to be a leg up, a benefit for the future. When I was 10, we immigrated from Romania to Israel. Now, Israel is a Western country, Romania is a communist country. In communist countries, they tell you all kinds of nonsense. I didn't want to go to Israel. I thought in Israel, a Western country, it's all capitalists, evil people who own slaves. That's actually what I thought as a 10-year-old communist country. So obviously I wasn't very happy about it, and leaving my friends and so on. But it obviously turned out to be a good thing, being more free in the West. Now just to make it clear, travel is fun. Immigration is not fun. You go to another country, you learn the language, get used to people, get a job, there's no going home kind of thing. So immigration generally is not a pleasant procedure, as the foreigners probably know, but it tends to open new opportunities. So that was my first immigration. 5 years later in Israel, my mother married a Canadian, and he eventually brought us all to Canada. Now I was eager, happy to go to America, even though we kind of went a little bit north. And that turned out to be the most unpleasant immigration. I was in my late teens. The older you are, the harder it is to adjust, but you're not yet an adult. I think immigration is the worst when you're a teenager, my experience. Obviously, it turned out to be a good thing because I became very fluent in English, and I got a Canadian passport out of it, which is a very useful thing. After a few years, I got to like Canada too. So that was a big kick in the butt trying to adjust to North America, but it turned out to be a good thing. Later, I went to university and I studied physics. Not my wisest decision. I hated the subject once I got into it, but it turned out that I was too proud to change. So I had to not quit. I had to prove I can get my degree in physics. The result of that was I couldn't find a job. Not in physics. So I spent probably something like a decade out of my life doing many crappy jobs. So being low paid in bad jobs is not a good thing. In fact, it was a very bad thing career-wise and being poor and everything. But it turned out to be a good thing if you want to be a writer. I like to write. You can't very well write about other characters if you've only had one kind of job all your life. So it turned out that doing all these different experiences and jobs are actually a source of stories, of inspiration. So that was a big benefit, but only with hindsight. I didn't enjoy going through it. Eventually, I ended up working in IT, programming computers, and that was good. It's an interesting job, it's a fun job, it pays well. Then this bad boy called Osama bin Laden blew up a couple of buildings, and the economy went down, and so did my career. That was the end of my IT career. It was back to doing shit jobs all over the place. And, not a good thing, but a few things happened as a result. One was, I ended up back in Israel for like 8 months. I got to reconnect with my father. He left when I was young. I got to know my little brother that I didn't actually know. So that was one nice thing, getting in touch with the father's side of my family. And later on, I still couldn't find work. I ended up coming to Taiwan to teach English because that's better than being a night guard in a security job. So at that point, I was talking to my cousin, and he gave me this Romanian proverb that every kick in the ass is a step forward. It turned out to be right. First of all, I discovered, to my very big surprise, that I like teaching. I thought I'll never be a teacher. Like when I was young, I saw bad students in classes. I used to be the teacher's pet. I used to like teachers. They like me. But I thought, I don't want to be in their shoes. I don't ever want to be a teacher. I ended up here. All of a sudden, I like teaching. So that was a nice discovery. I ended up doing other things like getting an MBA at Charlton University. So that was kind of useful. I met my better third over there. I think that's a good thing. And of course, I got to meet all of you strange and wonderful people. Some more strange, some more wonderful. And basically, I guess if there's a message to this tale, it's that you should look forward to the next kick in the ass you get from life, because you don't know where you'll end up. Those guys.